Good morning.
Sorry.
It's Monday.
It's Monday morning.
Monday morning grit.
We got some grit.
We also have a guest, a special guest, Logan Cantrell.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude. Happy Monday the 12th.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, dude. How are you guys doing on this fine Monday? You Garfields?
Oh,
Oh.
dude, you know what?
You know what?
I'm not a big
No.
Monday morning guy, but this grit has really turned my Monday mornings around.
Honestly, I'm like anti-Garfield, dude.
Oh,
Because
yeah?
I
You hate
work all
lasagna?
weekend at night, so Monday is like the day where
Day of rest.
Monday or Tuesday is usually my like solid day of rest. So
Okay.
I'm not Garfield.
You're not Garfield.
Happy boy.
You're not Garfield. You're Logan.
Yeah, dude.
Logan
Still-
Cantrell.
I do fuck with lasagna though.
Well, that's good.
Who names a cat after a president, though? I feel like that's kind of weird. Normally we
Ooh.
don't give pets people names, especially not assassinated presidents. You wouldn't name your cat Kennedy, would you?
Well, I was gonna say, what is the best president name for a cat? Garfield's pretty decent, I
Do
think.
they have to be someone who was assassinated?
And
Or
Nixon's kind of cute for a cat.
If you had a cat named Nixon,
Eisenhower?
that sounds like a Warren cat.
A Warren cat.
Yeah.
I think Taft. would be a
Taft.
g- This is
Oh, yeah, and he could be like one of those like super fluffy
Taft.
cats,
Yeah, like a big
like a
fat,
tabby.
fluffy cat.
a
Okay.
tabby Taft.
I think that-
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
There's a few of them.
But yeah, any
Polk.
anything. Polk's a good one.
Or James, just to go first name.
Yeah.
This is Polk and Taft. They do not get along.
Could you imagine showing up to like the vet and be like, "This is my cat, Obama." It's a black cat.
That feels bad. So,
Yeah, a
actually,
little
I like
modern.
that a lot. Actually, like if I get past my first reaction, I think naming a cat like one Barack, one Hussein, and one Obama. That might be my favorite.
They're triplets.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
pretty great.
So did y'all have a good week this week? Did you do anything around town?
Well, I guess we all kind of did do something together.
Good point. On Saturday, we went to the Tacoma Club, saw Jordan Jensen.
Oh, dude, what a treat!
Dude.
I was working those shows all weekend. She is fucking fantastic.
She is hilarious.
Yeah, she's a really good comic.
I always get kind of nervous when like comics do crowd work because I'm worried that like somebody's gonna go too crazy. Which like there was that one clearly drunk woman in the front that was like being a bit disruptive, but I think she handled it very well.
Oh, yeah. Those were like the highlights even of the show, were the handling the heckler.
Yeah, when she was like telling her boyfriend, like, "Do not fuck this lady."
She is too drunk.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Yeah. I might even say top female stand-up right now.
I mean,
I don't know how much
Jessica
comfort.
Kirsten
Ooh, okay.
is really funny.
That's a good one.
I really
I like
her.
Rosebud Baker.
Rosebud Baker is hilarious.
She's really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good people in New York right now. You know?
I even really still like, she hasn't been at it the last couple years, but fucking, what's her name, who married the Get Out guy? Key and Peele.
Oh yeah. Chelsea Peretti.
Chelsea Peretti is so funny.
That's Peretti. She's
I always forget which one's Key and which one's
I do
Peel.
too.
Jordan Peele's the one who
He's the director.
yeah, he's the shorter guy.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so with when she was like, yeah, NPR beta cucks, I was like, hang on.
You felt
Sounds
called out?
Sounds like somebody doesn't like the news you need and uplifting jazz and blues on an independent listener-owned radio station. To me, you know, I'm not.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It is funny because you have all of the other masculine qualities that she was looking for.
You're military. You're all
Yeah,
these
good
things.
with your hands. You got a mustache.
Yeah, but that's so funny. She does all these things, and then like you go to turn the radio on, and she's like expecting some like dad rock or something, and she just gets like smooth.
It's jazz Sunday side up.
Wait a second, this guy's more beta than I thought.
It's wait, don't tell me.
That's funny.
I bet she'd like wait, don't tell me. Wait, don't tell me is pretty
How
funny.
can you hate? Wait, don't tell me.
You can't.
That's what I'm saying. Oh man.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine. But anyway, she's a great comic. Her feature was really good too. He made that reference to fucking Shakespeare.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Merchant
The
of
Merchant
Venice.
of Venice. I was like, hell yeah.
Who just casually throws a Merchant of Venice joke out in the middle of fucking Tacoma? I was like, that was a big swing, dude. It paid off.
And I think only like 4 people laughed, and he was like, hell yeah. Like, that was even better than he expected.
Anyone who gets it can fucking come hang out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One thing I wanted to point out this week that was kind of funny to me is, with the holiday season, you have holiday decorations
Holiday season.
going up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at least a place I used to work, they threw up, non-denominational holiday decorations. Your typical fixtures, Christmas tree, Christmas lights, stuff like that. Well, someone in management
That's
figured out,
denominational, isn't it? Oh, not like you mean like non?
yeah, it's not like we put a cross or
Right,
like an
right,
angel
right.
up on the tree,
Okay.
right? But like somebody in management
No
figured out
manger?
no manger, no nativity scene outside the office, but someone in management figured out that I guess like the ownership was Jewish, and so they bought like what I believe was the shittiest menorah you could possibly buy. Like it must have been like a $3 plastic menorah, and you like plug it into the wall, and it's got these shitty little light bulbs that are like supposed to be the candles. And first of all, never even plugged in, and it was set up on like this little like table where like if you sit down and you're waiting to meet with somebody, you like throw old magazines on there. It was sitting on that table, and I was like, I'm glad we don't do this for like other people. Like you figure out that somebody who works there is Cuban, and it's like we're having a Cuban Heritage Day, so you like get the shittiest like $3 Cuban flag you can find. You get everybody Cuban sandwiches, and the whole office watches Scarface together, and it's like, woo, Cuban heritage.
Honestly,
I do love a Cuban sandwich, though. That's
if
one of
I
my
thought my
favorite sandwiches.
office would do that for a Cuban person, I would say I was Cuban for sure.
I'm down to watch Scarface and eat Cuban sandwiches any day of the
Cuban
week.
sandwiches are like, I'd say in the top 10 sandwiches for sure, personally.
I think so, too, just because I love onions so much.
Dude, we might have to do a sandwich draft.
Oh, yeah. Dude, sandwich draft.
Yeah.
That's a great call.
No, that would be excellent, and we could also like.
I might need to do a little research beforehand.
Yeah,
I mean, I know what
might have to get a list prepared, and then like depending on who gets taken, have like some backup.
I know, because I know my number 1 isn't going to get taken anytime soon.
What's
but
your number 1?
Legendary sandwich, Monte Cristo.
Dude,
Ooh,
I was
wow.
like, I was literally gonna say that would be somewhere on my list. I didn't expect it to be your number 1.
Number 1.
That
Because
is
when
a great
when I
sandwich.
think about sandwiches, first thing I think about is the bread.
Yeah, dude, it's a great.
Hard to
fucking-
beat French toast as a
I
bread.
remember the
Oh, yeah.
first time I had a Monte Cristo sandwich. I was probably like 16 or 17, and I was like mad at people for not.
Yep.
Where's this
telling
been?
me about it earlier.
Dude, that same thing happened to me. I was like 15 years old.
What type of jelly do you like on it?
I go raspberry usually.
Raspberry is the move.
Yeah,
for sure.
no,
it's
you
it's
gotta
the only
go
thing
with
that has the
raspberry.
right level of tartness. Like,
Because it
and
needs to cut through a
sweetness,
little bit.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's also
You guys,
that's
I don't even know why I'm surprised. You guys are refined gentlemen.
when you're in Washington, raspberries that's the fruit
No, dude.
fruit du jour.
I do like a good Loganberry.
Oh,
have you ever
good
had
call.
a Loganberry?
I don't
Very
believe
rarely.
I've had a Loganberry.
I'm gonna get you some Loganberry jam.
Ooh.
Like
Okay.
it was always given to me because like in Southern Oregon, there's people that like grow Loganberries and shit.
Right.
And so like there was like 2 Logans in my class, and so they were like this one chick whose parents made jam, and I was like, hey, fucking.
Logan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wait,
It's
I'm
so
I'm thinking
fucking
about
good.
lingonberry.
Lingonberry.
Yeah, you get like lingonberry stuff at IKEA,
Okay.
but
I-
Loganberry. I don't know
I-
if I've ever had
It's
Loganberry.
similar to like boysenberries and Marionberries.
Oh, I
and,
love
like,
Marionberries. I
like
got an
that.
Aunt Marion. She loves Marionberries.
Dude,
She
I'm
make
sure
a
she
Marionberry
does.
pie.
I'm sure she
Have
does.
you ever had
Berry,
service
rhubarb.
berry?
No.
Service berry is really weird because like the tree that they grow on. The tree fruits when the ground thaws after winter, right? And they
Mhm.
call it a service berry tree because if it starts to fruit, you know you can bury dead bodies because the ground is thawed, right?
That's sick.
That's a good. That's like when you read like Greek mythology, It's like, oh yes, the flower blooms because
When
the
did they
dead
name
body's
it? I wonder
underneath.
when they named it that.
Back when the ground being frozen was a problem, but with it being frozen outside, you can just throw the body in like the shed or something, and it's it's
Wait.
preserved. Right?
Just throw the body in the
And
shed.
then after you're done, like digging the your 6-foot hole and throwing the body and then covering it up in there, you can eat some delicious berries afterwards. It's
Yeah, you can like feed your berry tree some delicious nitrates.
you know what? I'm gonna at my funeral they're gonna have service berries.
I like that.
That's a reasonable request.
I
Just
think
like
so.
Just everything service berry, like service
Yep.
berry PB&J,
Service berry-
Monte Cristos.
Service berry cider.
Ooh,
I like all of this. This is
I
service
do
berry
like
wine.
specialty ciders.
Yeah.
You can do like grappa, but like
Grappa, yeah.
made out of service berries. You can have the whole fucking spectrum.
Yeah.
It makes me think. So we got these black ravens here that Warren brought for us, and I don't know if they make a cider, but I would love a. You want to try this?
Try some.
We got the what is it? It's the IPA. It's not the. It's the fresh hop.
It's the West Coast IPA made from Citra hops, which makes me
Oh.
think,
Not bad.
I don't know what these hops are, but if they had beer
take one of
stores that were run like weed stores, I feel like
Ooh,
then
yeah.
then we would know our hops, like
Aren't the,
Ooh.
like isn't Bevmo like that?
I don't
Or are
actually
you saying you want like
They-
a
they-
bud tender who's going to take you
Exactly.
through like the full flavor spectrum
Exactly.
and
Yep.
educate you?
Yeah.
could you imagine
Well, like-
making a beer place like that?
There's breweries like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like educate you, and like some of them have like a wide enough like manufacturing base to kind of give you, a nice array of shit.
Yeah, or if you do like a brewery tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't. It would be nice if you could like actually sit down with someone and figure out like your perfect beer.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll
This
bet-
is really good for an IPA.
I will.
'Cause-
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
yeah.
Because like usually for me IPAs I can only like I'd be having half of this, but this I
Right.
feel like I'll have the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very refreshing and not like stupid hoppy.
Because they do that trickster IPA.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah,
it's
they got
good, but
they
it's
got
like
that at
twice as hard to drink.
They
as
got
this
that
one
at
is.
the club. Well, I'll have 2 of those, and I'll be pretty buzzed after drinking those.
Right.
They sneak up on you. Those
Yeah,
tricksters.
they do. They sure do. But this is from Woodinville, which is like way out of our normal range
That's
that we
fair.
cover. But I was like,
I actually think it's in
good.
Redmond.
We do their.
It's right on the edge, but I've been to the Black Raven, the location, and it's a really like it's like one of those all wood on the inside, low lighting. My favorite kind of bar, actually,
We do
or
the Black
brewery
Raven
bar.
Pilsner.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and you do the Trickster IPA. You got both.
So, yeah, they're a good brewery for sure.
Yeah, I
What's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer
Beer draft.
of all of them.
Beer-
draft and
the
sandwich draft go hand in hand.
I mean, if I'm getting on tap, I go with the Mac and Jack's Amber.
That's your favorite, like anywhere.
No, because if I go anywhere, then I gotta go with the lemon bintang from Indonesia.
Okay, that's your favorite beer you've ever
My
had.
favorite beer I've ever had.
That's a good beer.
Or there's a raspberry Belgian beer. I don't remember what the brand is, but
Yeah. Did we ever go to Prost or one of those German pubs together?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. There's this beer called Brauweiss
Ooh,
that I fucking love. It's it's a version of a hef basically, but it's got like these. It's crazy subtle with like different fucking notes that you can kind of detect. Yeah, I know. It was one of the first beers that I ever could like really pick apart the layers on. And
Oh, like
fucking-
you could. It's easy enough to break down.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's so fucking good and refreshing. Like you know how they serve like those big like fucking 3 fucking liter steins. and
Oh,
shit?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I pounded one of those in like 20 minutes one time.
Wow.
I only had one. What about you, Warren?
What's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer. I might have to say, Seven Seas Brewery makes like a raspberry sour ale, and I just really enjoy it.
Ooh, raspberry
Like,
boys.
I'm not. I know like sours at one point
Pretty
were like,
controversial, yeah.
super controversial. This one, I like it. I like it a lot.
How sour is it?
I've yet to find a sour that I enjoy.
I think it's worth a try, but if you don't like sours,
It's an uphill battle.
Yeah, yeah. The odds are stacked against you.
For sure.
But I mean, I think we've established that we do enjoy raspberry here. This is a raspberry
Yeah, right.
crew.
I do like the sourness of raspberry. I love in certain situations. I just like
Oh, it is
I don't know, something
technically
about the
though.
beer and the sour just never like I don't know. It just didn't ever hit me the right way.
I noticed on the can it has a warning that says "Do not cellar." Is that a mistake that people make sometimes? They're like, "Let's stick this beer in the cellar and age it for 15 years."
Yeah, you're right. Do not sell her. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Drink fresh.
I wonder
I
if
do
there's-
really like their raven label too.
Oh yeah, no Ravens.
I've thought if I were to get a tattoo, it'd be of a raven, and that's pretty close to what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Why?
Unless it was in the wingspan. Dude, it's my spirit animal.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. One time I watched Robin Big, and they were finding out their spirit animal, and it was like they went to some guy, and he was like, "All right, close your eyes and imagine you're walking through a forest. Now take a left. Now open a box. Now blah blah blah." And then inside was a raven.
That's wild.
That's how you do it, apparently.
If anybody,
Interesting.
if I ask, like,
I like the trickster aspect of the
especially-
raven too.
especially a man, if
Oh,
I ask them
yeah.
their spirit animal and they say a wolf, I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, more like two wolves.
I can think of like 2 or 3, or maybe even 4.
Probably butterfly
men
for you, right?
That a wolf makes sense for.
Oh yeah, you gotta really be.
But you know, like I feel like
Oh yeah, who do we know who's a wolf?
I don't know any of them.
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I can think of like famous people that like a wolf feels appropriate for.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I know any wolves in my life. I stay away from wolves, I
And
guess.
only Hugh Jackman's allowed to have the Wolverine as a spirit animal.
He makes sense for that.
Yep. So, what do we want to dive into first? The Chinese Reconciliation Park or the trial of Ed Troyer?
Ooh, well, the trial. I kind of want to start there, just
Okay.
because I saw this article recently about the Fifth Amendment.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? And so apparently, we were talking about the trial last week about Ed Troyer and how he abused his power.
Right.
But so I read this article this week about all of the cops that were testifying either on his behalf or against him.
Mhm.
Every single one of them pled the Fifth.
Really?
And one of them pled the
F.
Fifth for 7 hours of interrogation.
Wow.
FIF.
Fifth.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Yeah.
Which is like that's not a good sign. That's I guess solidarity amongst people.
Well,
is,
I don't know, because like
Fuck
one of the
police.
people testifying against him, from what I understand, is actually an active TPD officer right now.
Oh.
His name is Officer Lawless, which is an amazing name
That's
for a police
hilarious.
Hell yeah.
officer.
lawless.
Yeah.
He's above the law, or without law.
Did it say how old he was by chance?
It did not, but he looks younger.
Okay.
Looks like a younger.
But he was one who did he did testify.
So he's the one that actually typed up the police report, like after talking to Troyer after the incident. So he's like, I guess the reporting officer in terms of like
Can you
what
get-
the incident.
Can you
Let
guys
me
like
look it
kind
up.
of bring me up to speed? a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
Warren,
more?
you want to?
Okay. So Ed Troyer is the sheriff of Pierce County, right?
Okay.
And he's controversial for a few reasons. He's had multiple complaints filed against him. But I think the one incident where it really boiled over is in his neighborhood. He basically saw his newspaper carrier, which is this black guy named Cedric Altimer, delivering papers at 2 a.m, which is not unusual for newspaper delivery. Troyer freaks out, follows him, gets in an altercation with him. Then he calls 911 and tells like the dispatcher, Cedric Altimer's trying to kill him. And because it's the sheriff, it gets moved up to the highest priority. 40 police officers show up to this scene, like guns drawn and everything. And they get there, and it's not anything like how it
just-
was described to them.
it's
It was just
a
a
guy trying to do his job.
exactly, and like given
He's a racist and a liar.
well, yeah, so like and basically the Attorney General's office, Bob Ferguson, is charging him on like 2 misdemeanors. One's like filing a false report, and the other's like not lying to a dispatcher or something like that. But anyways, he's on trial.
There should also be something of like abuse of power, or like when
Yeah.
you're
The problem is, and I think I talked about this last time, sheriffs are so difficult to remove from office because in a lot of places they're elected, so the only way to remove them is a recall election. Very difficult to organize. But so he actually took the stand, I believe it was Thursday, and it was like basically what I expected from him. He's like, this is a witch hunt. My political opponents are behind this. And he also said it's due to shoddy police work. And I'm going to get into that in a moment here.
they might turn on him. They might stop pleading the fifth.
Well, I mean, Officer Lawless is definitely like sort of spearheading, I guess, like the testimony against him.
All you need is a few really fucking poignant, people that are willing to do it. That's the hard part. But if you can find 2 or 3 that are willing to fucking do it, and shouts out to Lawless.
Lawless, he's our hero.
Lawless.
He's our Tacoma boy of the day.
Tacoma boy of the day.
I don't know if I'll ever give a cop.
No.
Like, he's still a cop.
We'll give Cedric.
Fair point.
We'll give Cedric Alzheimer for allegedly launching newspapers at people's
Yeah.
houses in a threatening manner.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I do.
Cedric's Tacoma boy of the day.
There we
Yeah.
go. I'll give it up.
Just having to deal with all that. I hope he gets fucking paid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By the city, by his job, by all. I hope he gets a.
I hope he never has to
fucking
deliver
check.
newspapers again.
Yeah,
unless
exactly,
he loves it.
dude. Yeah, unless
Probably
he wants
doesn't
to
wanna-
start his own fucking newspaper.
Yeah. So yeah, Officer Lawless, like basically, he filled out the report, and Troyer was like, "There's a bunch of information missing from that report," and it's things like Troyer's middle initial, like his height, his eye color, and it's like, it's the fucking sheriff, Ed Troyer. Like, why does he need to write down all the fucking driver's license information? Like, how is that relevant? He's like, Troyer's like, this is the shortest police report I have ever seen, and it's like, yeah. Because a crime didn't fucking happen. You lied, you piece of shit. That's why it's a short report. He showed up there and just saw a guy doing his job, and then there's a sheriff that's like, I didn't threaten. He didn't. He said, like, Alzheimer threatened him, and then when the police got on site, they're like, did he threaten you? And he's like, like, he's very, like, dodging the questions and stuff. So,
A liar and a racist.
but yeah, he was like, least amount of info. So, like,
I did my research, Logan.
So, like, he, Alzheimer, of course, denies threatening Troyer, which I believe it. Like, especially if you're on a newspaper delivery route, you don't have time to fucking threaten people.
Although
You
I do say, if I was a newspaper delivery guy, I'd be fucking launching them.
Oh, yeah? Just like,
Take
nice thud on the door.
that.
2 in the morning trying to hit the doorbell.
Yeah. But,
Out of like a fucking crossbow looking machine. You're just like shooting it at houses.
so, like, Ed Troyer, he's like, there was a lot of crime happening in my neighborhood and whatnot. And it's like, I looked it up. He lives in North Tacoma. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's
What
like
crime.
that's like the quietest part of Tacoma.
Like what? Point Defiance or something? Like
Yeah, that
Yeah, the
area, like
raccoons
Point
keeping 'em up at
Ruston
night.
and
Right,
those
some
places.
possums.
Yeah. And like the funny thing is he was like, my son had his car broken into, and apparently what was stolen from the car was a saxophone and a guitar. And it's like, that's how you know there's not a lot of crime in his neighborhood, is if people are leaving fucking saxophones and guitars in their car. Like, it'll be there when I get back. Like, everybody that lives in every other part of Tacoma is like, don't leave valuables in your car. Simple as that, right? I mean, you leave a saxophone in there. Like, how much is a saxophone?
Yeah,
It's made of brass. It's a semi-precious metal. Could you imagine?
even just melting it down.
Yeah,
it's
you
worth
just show up to
something.
the scrapyard with a stolen saxophone.
I'll give you $15 for the weight of it. Deal.
Got it.
And then like Troyer, he's trying to like show that he's really a nice guy. So I think his lawyer asked the judge, it's like, can we show these 15 pictures of Mr. Troyer with his family? Just to show how much of a swell guy
Dude, he's a
he
family
is.
man.
He would never threaten.
Why didn't he tell me he was delivering newspapers as a quote?
And like, here's the thing: is like, you know,
Dude, I could see his muscles pump up, and I could hear him yelling.
yeah,
Muscles
yeah.
pump
his
up.
muscle, yeah. He got out his bicycle pump. He pulled out his bicycle pump. So Troyer thought it was actually a rifle, right? When Altimer pulls his bicycle pump out, plugs it into his belly button, and pumps his muscles up to show Troyer he's not to be fucked with when he's delivering newspapers at 2
Pull
a.m.
muscle pants.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
He was trying to de-escalate the situation.
And here's the thing, like, Troyer was not wearing anything that, like, identified himself as a law enforcement officer. So from, like, you know, Altimer's perspective, it's just some angry fucking white guy at 2 a.m, like, what are you doing in my neighborhood? You know?
Yeah, right.
Which I'm sure is tremendously annoying.
I hope he had got like some footage of it too.
So I don't know if the actual incident's taped, but the police response is taped, and like there's obvious confusion with the police officers, where it's like, wait, what? This isn't what was reported.
Why are we all here together?
Yeah, I mean, 40 of them showed up.
40 cops is so many.
Yeah, and
Like
like
you can't even fit on the same street.
when
Can you
you
imagine being in bed and you get a call? Like, there's no way 40. Like, it was either every single cop in Pierce County that was on duty went, or they like called a bunch of people that were asleep.
It was
right,
pretty
and
much
early
like
in the morning.
everyone that was on duty, and it wasn't just like Tacoma. It was Pierce County. Like I heard even like state troopers showed
So
up.
that was like the
Lakewood.
moment to like go out and commit a crime.
Exactly. So that's why it should be a much bigger deal than just the misdemeanor charges. If you think about that, if that's happening,
Think of all
right?
the drunk drivers that got home scot-free that day.
But yeah, think about that. Like any other crime that gets reported at that moment is just gets knocked down in priority, right? Because they think the sheriff is getting murdered. For God's sake, you could be getting murdered, and they're like, well, you know, the sheriff. He's the sheriff. I'm sure you'll understand later on.
Ed Troyer, dude.
Yeah,
We gotta get
it's
his
Ed
back.
fucking
We
Troyer.
got
That's
our boy.
We gotta save Ed Troyer, dude. We don't even have to mark down his height and eye color.
Yeah.
We all know him so well.
Yeah, but like, you know, I like his approach where it's like, this is shoddy police work. It's like he could only do that if it was like another agency. Like if the report was taken by
you're
like a
in charge.
sheriff's deputy, he's like, this is shoddy fucking police work. And it's like, you deputized that man, hand-picked him to be in your sheriff's office. But yeah, this is what a trial.
So does it look like he's going down? Like what's
it's so hard to tell.
Because what I was seeing with all the people pleading the fifth, I'm like, this doesn't look like a good sign.
It's so hard to tell. I wonder.
Can a sheriff be removed from office?
You'd have to organize a recall election,
It's
which
the
is
only way.
So even
Pretty
if he gets
much.
arrested,
Even if he's put in jail.
if he's put in jail, then I think that's an interesting question.
he's gonna be like Pablo Escobar, like fucking making deals from
running it.
jail.
He's got messenger pigeons he sends out. They're like, somebody take the rounds out of Lawless's shotgun, so if he needs it later, it won't be loaded. Fucking piece of shit.
It's gonna be a hard Monday for Lawless
Oof.
in the office.
Oh yeah,
I'll bet. I wonder if the TPD boys are just giving each other high fives, like they think the Pierce County Sheriff's Office is just a bunch of fucking hillbillies.
Yeah, probably.
Bunch of
A lot of
pot-bellied
rivalries
hillbilly.
between those.
I'm sure, like, if they have like a pickup football game, it's definitely not two-hand touch. You know?
It's flag.
So when does it wrap up? Will we have a couple more updates as the weeks go along?
I think it should be wrapping up pretty soon.
All right. Well, we'll have to give
If
an
anything,
update.
it should have wrapped up sooner, but Troyer conveniently got COVID or something at the beginning, and he's like, "I'm sick." It's like, shut up.
Put a mask on.
He probably was. He probably was sick, but it's like, right before your court date, that's convenient.
Awfully convenient.
Very convenient.
I was sick around the same time. I might have given it
I
to
was
him.
too. I can't
Oh,
blame
yeah.
him. It was me. My bad. All right, well, good update on Troyer. We'll have to update the people a little more as it goes along.
Yeah.
It's really the biggest case I've heard about in a while.
Yeah.
At least for the Tacoma metro area, big time.
And my opinion on it definitely is fuck police. So.
I mean, Troyer has definitely had a lot of baggage, right? Because a lot of people accuse him, and probably rightfully so, of trying to cover up the Manny Ellis death.
I don't know about that one.
Manny Ellis was a guy that got arrested by the Tacoma Police Department back in, I want to say, 2019. And they beat the shit out of this dude. They beat him to death, basically.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he died. And
What color was he?
black.
Mm.
And
2019, just too early.
And, like, yeah, so, well, the body cam footage and the dash cam footage wasn't released until, I think, 2020.
Ooh.
Right around when, like, the George Floyd protests were happening.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's not good for PR.
Ed Troyer, probably, there's like a 90% chance, like, Ed Troyer tried covering up Manny Ellis's death. So,
well,
dude's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Didn't we see a sticker in the park
we saw a
once?
sticker that was like something about him being
Ed
a drunk
Troyer
driver.
drives drunk, and it's like him, but he's all like disheveled looking.
Yeah, that was a weird sticker.
He probably does. If I was the sheriff, I'd drive drunk.
I'll cut him some slack on that one. I
Yeah.
guess I agree.
Fuck this guy, though. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
What a
no,
piece of
total piece of shit.
Well, should we move on to some discussion about our
Chinese
monument of the week?
Yes, I'm excited to talk about the Chinese Reconciliation Park.
It is one of the prettier parks we have in town.
And
I like the waterfront parks,
Exactly. It's in a cool spot too. It's a great spot. It's right by Old Town. It's really easy to get to. And right by the water.
Yeah, it's right off 30th and
it allows
Parkway.
Yeah, the Schuster
And
Parkway.
it allows you the rare opportunity to reconcile with the Chinese.
Yeah, that's right. I think we all need to reconcile with the Chinese every once in a while.
So the list of features for the park, right?
Uh-huh.
I
They got the ting on the hill. I guess Ting was an important character.
Can you look up what a ting is so I can just stop fucking laughing?
They got the zigzag bridge.
I
That's
feel
not as funny as ting on the mound.
Ting on the mound.
I don't actually. It's the Ting on the mound. We're looking at the map right now.
I just can't say it without saying "duh mound" instead of "the mound."
That's what I'm saying.
Ting
That's
on the
not
mound.
right.
Well, then there's also Ting by the Bay, optional.
God damn it.
I've seen quite a few tings by the bay.
I see what I could see. Yeah, it's by the big swirl.
I noticed one of the features it has. It says fencing and landscaping, and it's like, isn't landscaping like almost a minimum requirement to have a park?
For a park?
Like, aren't all parks landscaped? I guess some of the national parks aren't landscaped. That's the point of the national park. But like a city park, I mean, of course you're gonna find landscaping.
You gotta landscape it
So
a
a
little
ting
bit.
is a Chinese pavilion. Just
Okay.
Oh,
it's like
a Chinese pavilion.
a little gazebo style
Okay.
building. So
Interesting.
it's not just us. We're pieces of shit.
We are
though.
pieces of shit. It's still funny though.
It is still hilarious.
We got our things, they got their tings.
There's more features to come. The park is still a work in progress.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, it's a place for reflection. You
We're
know
not
what features
completely
missing?
reconciled.
Yeah.
You know what features missing?
Something
There's no
wrong.
reflecting pool.
Ooh.
You can't be it's hard to be a place of reflection without a reflecting pool.
That's true. You can't really reflect. Well, the ocean doesn't really, or the sound doesn't quite do the job, does it?
No. I guess you could put up a big mirror. Could you just like, could you imagine it's like this is a place of reflection and it's just a giant mirror? Like how much of a fucking like.
That would be sick.
Yeah, but
love
at
big
the
mirrors.
same time, it's like such a it's almost a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like to be like, this is a place of reflection, and it's a giant mirror, and people are like, oh, haha, you piece of shit. You know?
That's why you go reflecting pool, because it feels like,
yeah.
more effort went into it at least.
Yeah, that gives it some distinction, right?
And it feels more Chinesey.
Yeah. I
Sure.
agree.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Oh, we gotta reflect on the Chinese.
Yeah, a little more mystical. I don't know.
It is kind of
Maybe
interesting
Chinesey
that
was the wrong adjective.
it is. I do.
Get that.
I do think it's. I do think it's interesting, like kind of the Asian diversity within Tacoma area, because like when you go down to Lakewood, it's really heavy Korean dominant,
Right, yeah.
and most places it's Chinese Japanese dominant. But we really did
all the good Korean barbecue spots are down in Lakewood.
get the gopjang or whatever. But Tacoma really did their work in getting rid of both the Chinese and the Japanese.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, well, here's the thing.
Made room for the Koreans, I suppose.
Well, that's how it works. That's why. I mean, from what I understand, like why Seattle's international district ended up becoming so heavily like Chinese is all the Japanese people got moved out of there forcefully, and then they were like, "This is our time. We're moving back in.
Exactly.
This is our moment." So, I guess a brief history. I guess a Dr. and Mrs. Murdoch actually got the idea started in 1982.
For the park. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were like, this might be.
Are they still alive?
I don't think so. I didn't actually look it up, but in 1992,
probably not those old guys.
1992. I mean, if you're like fundraising to put together a park or something, I feel like that's usually like an older person activity. It's like let's build a park.
Like, dude, it says they sensed something was amiss.
Oh yeah.
Can you just be like, man, this town is cool, but there's not like. There just needs to be a park to reconcile my guilt with the Chinese. It's really what's missing.
There's not enough Chinese stuff around here.
There's not enough things to be like, sorry, Chinese people.
Yeah. I really wonder who like Dr. and Mrs. Murdoch, like who they were really.
Oh yeah, I wonder what their ancestors did that made them feel so guilty.
Because they like moved here in 1982, and I'm wondering that. Yeah, it's like, what did you find out that you were like, everything else that's going on in Tacoma? Mind you, Tacoma in the 80s, I believe the mayor at one point described it like Beirut in Lebanon, which was having a civil war in the 80s.
Oh, really?
I mean, Tacoma was crazy in the 80s.
Yeah, I heard that people like in traffic used to like run down the hills onto the freeway and like rob people. I don't know if that's true, but like someone told me that used to happen. I'm like, that's hilarious.
That's a pretty good legend.
They come to Tacoma in 1982 and they're like, something's amiss, and it's like, I feel like a few things might be amiss. I mean, I was telling you about the Ash Street shootout like last night. That was 80s Tacoma, right? But yeah, so in 1992 a committee was formed, and in 1993 the city council passed resolution 32415, in which they declared the Chinese expulsion from Tacoma as a most reprehensible occurrence, which is a very proper way to say it was not a good thing.
When was the Chinese expulsion?
I'm going to get to that, but I did want to bring up
well, I see this thing right here. It says the Chinese must go by the mayor. It was Saturday, 7:30 o'clock. But I guess it doesn't say the day.
It was November 3rd.
1885.
Well, yeah, 1882 was the Chinese Expulsion Act by the United States, which put like caps on immigration. But it was November 3rd, 1985, or not 1985, 1885, where they were marched out of Tacoma.
The Tacoma Way.
But like
is that what it's called?
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
My favorite part of like the calling it a most reprehensible occurrence, it reminds me of, remember after 9/11 you had like the boards, the charts in the airport, and it's like the severity of like the terror threat. I feel like now there should just be a chart where it's like no occurrence, reprehensible occurrence, more reprehensible occurrence, and then the top, the red one, the most dangerous one, a most reprehensible occurrence.
That's reserved for things like 9/11 and the Tacoma.
Could you imagine, like, that's such a weird thing to call it. Like, could you imagine if 9/11 happened and somebody's like, a most reprehensible occurrence has taken place today?
I think that's what FDR said about Pearl Harbor.
That's like if like a government in the Middle East in 100 years was like, yeah, that was pretty whack of us.
My bad.
It's like if it happened in 1885 and they didn't even release that statement until, what did you say, 92, 93?
93.
93. So it's 110 years almost.
Yeah,
they
right.
waited to even acknowledge that they did something wrong.
Yeah.
That's like, so I've looked up the presidential pardons, and it's pretty funny because they'll be so old. Like Trump, he pardoned Jack Johnson, the boxer, for because he got arrested for transporting a white woman across state lines. He's like, I forgive you, Johnson, from 100 years
That's
ago.
off your record, that guy. He won't come for you for that.
That's the Mann Act.
But yeah, so November 3rd, 1885, they basically just got like a bunch of men to go round up the Chinese residents and march them out of the city. From what I understand, it was a much more orderly process than other parts of the country. I believe Seattle was just a mob. It was basically a riot, right? Granted,
Tacoma's a
Tacoma
little more orderly with their racism.
Well, Tacoma, you want to guess how many Chinese people of like Chinese immigrants lived in Tacoma at the time?
I think it was a 200.
Yeah, it's just 200, right? I mean, still not insignificant, but it's like compared to other
enough to
cities,
have it in a little neighborhood.
Compared to other cities on the
Where
West
were they
Coast.
supposed to go?
Yeah, right.
I don't know where maybe they marched them into the bay. That's why the Chinese Reconciliation Park is where it is.
Oh no, yeah, because you're right. It's not like, oh well, Portland will take them or
Yeah, I don't know.
Olympia.
Maybe
What did
they
people
marched
have against Chinese people in the 1880s.
Oh well, here's
They were taking over, dude. They had the opium dens that
they
the
were
British had made them.
Well, here's the thing. Like, could you imagine you come over to this country and then you do like years of backbreaking labor putting the fucking railroad together?
Ooh,
and
yeah,
then
you
they're
connect the whole country.
Yeah, they're like
itself.
they're like, thanks for the railroad. Now get the fuck out.
Now that
Actually,
we made it to the
actually,
coast.
you get one free train ride, but you can't go anywhere on the West Coast. We'll send them to Wyoming.
I actually heard that what happened, they all ended up going to San Francisco because there was the big San Francisco fire like that year.
Oh yeah,
And it burned down the government building that had all the records of all the immigration records. So then all the Chinese people like forged their documents and said that their stuff got burnt in San Francisco.
There was just no way
Well,
to prove
that kind of
otherwise.
makes
Yeah, right.
sense because like thinking about West Coast cities at least, like which one has like the most robust and vibrant like Chinatown?
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is the first one that comes to
Oh,
mind.
for sure.
So yeah, I mean that makes a lot
Then
of
I'd go
sense.
Vancouver, but that's more recent.
That makes a lot of sense to me. But like
I like Seattle's Chinatown. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
but
me
I
too.
think Seattle has a nice Chinatown. Jade Garden
Oh
is
yeah,
one of my favorite
I love
places
the
to
Jade
eat
Garden.
on the planet.
for sure.
Like, that dim sum.
I was
would
gonna say
fucking
the
kill
that's the
people
best
for it.
dim sum.
Yeah, it's the best dim sum in the state, I think.
Awesome.
Didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off.
Well, then no,
Dim
don't
sum's
worry
like
about
one
it.
of the best foods there is.
We might have
And
to.
when you, oh yeah, we should go up there, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Get a crew up there.
Ooh,
Get the
yeah.
I don't have to work till 6. I don't know when time dim sum stops, but maybe if we have
I
time
wouldn't
today
be
or
able to
tomorrow.
do it today, but maybe tomorrow actually.
Yeah, then we could do it.
Yeah, but it's like so they marched him out in allegedly an orderly process called the Tacoma Method, right? Which
there we
was-
go.
It's bad when like rounding everybody up and marching them out of the city is seen as the more humane like method, right?
Like, oh, they did it right over there. Let's copy that system.
But you mentioned that poster, right?
Someone's just like, hey, remember that Trail of Tears? What if we just did that?
It's Trail of Tears 2. They made a sequel.
Even tearier.
Chinese edition.
Yeah.
They couldn't actually call it that because no one cried.
Even trailier.
The Chinese, they are very stoic.
They They gave him that.
I don't know if I've ever seen Chinese tears. Not from a man, at least, I guess.
If you collect
Male
them in a
Chinese.
vial, they protect you against demons.
It's actually that's what they're gonna call the reflecting pool at the park when it's complete, and they're gonna call it Chinese tears.
It's gonna be.
They're gonna call it the tears of the ting.
the ting and the tears.
But yeah, so like that poster you mentioned, where it was like everybody come on down to the Alpha Opera House, and we're gonna sort this out. I like how it says on it, it's like the answer to the Chinese question or something like that. And you know it's really bad when a whole people just get boiled down to a singular question. I mean,
It's like, what are we gonna do with these Chinese people?
I mean, that's basically how the Nazis did it. They were like, what do we, they had the Wannsee conference when they're like, what do we do about the Jewish question? And somebody's like, I think I have an idea. I think I have a final solution for our question.
Was there nobody, like, inner banging? Like,
oh yeah, where do they keep
did
solitary?
no one think that any Chinese chicks were hot and, like, have a Chinese wife that they're like, hey, dude, don't, like, get rid of my
That's a good
yellow
question. I don't even know if any of them were ladies.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like most of them were probably men because they came over to work on the railroad.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you're right. They send their wives over, or come bring them over.
White ladies don't like Chinese dudes. It's a weird.
Yeah.
White ladies don't like Asian dudes, pretty much. Like, not exclusively.
But yeah, it's rare.
You don't see it very often.
Yeah, Maceo is one of the few.
Yeah, Maceo's like,
Because his mom was white.
He's a cross himself too.
He's a rare breed.
But the thing with this whole like expulsion, it's like how ungrateful. The railroad made Tacoma, right? It's the terminus of the Northern Pacific. That's why Tacoma was allowed to grow faster than Seattle, in the early days, because it was the terminus of the Northern Pacific, right? But yeah, funny thing is that the foundation that runs the park, they put up a billboard on that intersection of 6th, Sprague and Division. You know what I'm talking about?
I know.
It's like the 5-way intersection that you wait forever at the light.
Oh yeah.
Southern Kitchen.
Yeah, Memos. So they paid for a billboard right over that intersection, and it was like 1885. The Chinese are expelled from Tacoma. 2022, Lori Jenkins removes Chinese History Month from the schools. As if those two acts are like, the same level of severity. If we go back to our chart, they're both a most reprehensible occurrence. But it's like, really? That's what you're mad about?
And it also makes it seem like those are the only two.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right?
We had
Like
a pretty good record.
Everything
for
else.
a while.
Everything else is great. Nobody assaulted Chinese people during the COVID epidemic.
Yeah, we kicked all the Chinese people out in 1885. We acknowledged that was pretty shitty in 1993. And then we got rid of Chinese History Month. Other than that, dude, we got a pretty great record.
Our very specific Chinese record, pretty
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Like, no mention of the fact that one of my favorites is you go to the Puyallup Fair, you don't see anything about how it used to be a concentration camp. Or internment camp, yeah.
With that, that's probably why the Chinese History Month got removed, because, I'm sure there were some community leaders that were like, bro, like, the Japanese got thrown in fucking internment camps. Where's their month,
Yeah, right.
And also, like,
just make it an Asian month.
Asian
That's
Heritage
what they're going to
Month.
argue.
they're gonna.
And then
I
the
don't know.
Koreans are going to be like, sweet.
And the Laotians are going to be like, we're not going to get talked about either way.
No. Well, that's the thing, is I also wonder if it's like, there's that sort of rivalry or almost animosity between like Southeast Asian nations, where it's like a bunch
Dude,
of Koreans.
there is, because like I worked, I was a hibachi chef for a while, and like I was one of 2 white guys in the whole restaurant, and everyone else was like Asian of different,
Oh yeah.
you know, different types of Asian, and like the main guy was he grew up in like Laos for a little bit, and like but he was Thai, I think, but he was like Korean passing is what he called himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like, dude, it was, but there was another dude who was like Cambodian, and then there was like some Vietnamese dudes, and like they would literally, like, pardon my language, we would call them dirty jungle Asians.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Like the older guys that were like actually Japanese and like, you know,
Mhm.
Thai and Korean and shit, they would like nonstop.
Yeah,
But
if you're,
Wow.
you're from the jungle.
if you did anything,
You're
in-
gonna die.
Yeah. There was a Samoan guy who was like up there in like the rankings, and even they gave him he like,
Interesting.
yeah, they
Yeah,
have a
the
very
Asian
established, and even like amongst, because there's like the chefs who you mostly interact with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the servers that like go around and take your orders and like bring you your sodas and your fucking rainbow sherbet at the end and all that shit.
I love rainbow sherbet.
Yeah, dude, it's always rainbow sherbet. But like even those ladies, like the one who was like born and raised in Japan, even got treated the best, and like fucking like there was a ladder. And
Right.
Interesting.
Well, like, yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I think I'd be upset. Like, I'd be like, the Chinese get their own History Month. Meanwhile, I got to deal with this AAPI celebration bullshit.
AAPI.
Asian American Pacific Islander, which is
Oh.
like one of the broadest group categorizations I could possibly think of.
it's like Asian American Pacific Islander, and then we got black, white, brown over here. And all the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, you could pretty like those. I feel like those 2 groups in population size are the same.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's like everybody.
But yeah, like I feel like that's maybe how it went down, and you know, it's like, I don't know. Do they really need their own month?
Well, we got 12 months to go around. We should just
Dude,
divide it up
this whole
equally into
podcast
12.
is gonna take like an hour and a half. If we can explain it. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll give them a week.
Yeah. I don't.
It's China Week.
It's China Week.
Yeah. You're right. We should just have a week for every country.
We just watch I don't know, Jackie Chan movies. We eat
Rice.
general- Yeah, we eat rice.
We eat rice and drink tea.
we order the cheapest Chinese flag we can order off of Amazon, which I feel like most people who are Chinese living in the United States are not too keen on the whole PRC, but we'll fly that red banner anyways.
Or
That's the thing. Most Chinese people I know hate China.
Yeah.
we could give every type of Asian their own superhero. There could be Korean man and Japanese man.
But
and
but they're all on
Welsh
the
China man.
they're all on the same they're all on the same team. Well, I don't know if you can call them China man.
He's a superhero, Warren. Don't make it weird.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a legend.
All right. You can also have the Ting on the Mound.
Yeah.
That's like his ice palace, the Superman's lair.
Yeah.
He goes to the Ting,
Ting on the Mound.
recharges his energy.
And like looks in the pool of Chinese tears.
But
Just a little vial from it.
I guess it's worth saying like why they picked the location they did for the park.
Mm.
It used to be a Chinese settlement called like Little Canton. Like,
Oh.
yeah. So it was like
That much? That's such a
there
small-
were only 200 of them.
I guess
And they probably all lived 6 in the. Have you ever been in those Chinese tenements or in Seattle? There's the Wing Luke Museum, and you can see they still have like the Chinese boarding houses, and you see like 10 guys in one room. That's like just
Goodness.
bunk beds on bunk beds, and
Wow.
but what's funny that is like right next door is also just apartments that are really shitty apartments. It's like, hey, come on, dude. I live in this environment.
How do you jack off? What's that?
But-
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
10-man bunk bed.
You just
It's like All right, good night.
I feel like it's because of that. You know,
Very
back in the day,
quietly.
they weren't so strict about public masturbation. He's like, he probably lives in one of those tenement houses. He needs this.
That is funny thing. Like public masturbation was just like, everybody does it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're also like because there wasn't so much like sexual shit in your face constantly all the time. Maybe people jacked off a little less.
Yeah, they weren't being revved up as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, think about it. You know, public masturbation like goes down, shootings go up. I think there might be a correlation and perhaps a causation.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. But
If would you be willing to legalize public masturbation for a year just to see?
Of course.
it'd be the greatest experiment
Bring
man
back
has
Louis.
ever undertaken.
Louis is the face of the.
He'd be the master.
He's the
Large Hadron
lobbyist.
Collider? No. Tacoma legalized public wanking it for fucking 9 months.
We have like a zone, like they did the drug-free
Oh, yeah,
zone.
yeah,
Like, all right, in this zone, we will
It's
not
just like-
persecute.
It's just anywhere that's not within 1,000 feet of a public school.
Which is surprisingly very few places, actually.
There are so many schools around.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Or playgrounds.
Keep your eyes open.
I mean, that's
Playgrounds are allowed. Just not schools. That's a place of learning. They shouldn't be distracted.
no,
So true.
certainly not.
But a place for merriment and fucking
Frivolity.
and leisure.
So, do either of you guys have any Tacoma plans for the upcoming week? You doing any Tacoma related things? I know we talked about maybe going to see the zoo lights.
Yeah.
But
Also,
I don't know if I'm
Holidaze
gonna make it.
ablaze on Friday.
Oh yes, that's right. You're going to Holiday the Snoop Dogg and
Yeah.
Warren G.
Yin Yang Twins, Warren G, and T-Pain, I believe.
If
What a lineup!
you got to try to meet Warren G and be like, "Hey Warren, I'm Warren."
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
no,
even
I
make that
should.
connection.
Be like, whoa, same name.
Warren
Just
G. I'm Warren R.
Be like, in a different life, you were me and I was you. You know.
It was a cold black night, cold dark night.
It was a cold, dark night.
Yeah.
Do. Regulators.
Dude, that's the encore
And
song.
if you have a dog, you'd be like, "This is my dog, Nate."
I feel like that's in poor taste.
Nate
you know,
is
the
a
dude-
great name for a dog.
That is a good dog name.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the
Mount up.
that's the encore song. You know, like they leave the stage, they pretend it's over, and then you just hear regulators mount up, and then like Warren G and Snoop Dogg come on out.
But Snoop wasn't a part of that.
He wasn't, but he's doing it in place of his
He
son.
What?
Wasn't Nate Dogg? Didn't Nate Dogg on Regulate?
Oh, the dogs. His dog son. I
Yeah.
got you.
Oh, I was gonna be like,
Huh.
Nate Dogg and Snoop Dogg aren't like related. That's not like their surname.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Dog.
I think they're first cousins.
oh! I thought Nate was his son or something.
Oh.
That wouldn't. The timeline wouldn't really work for
No,
that, would it?
dude. Nate. They're like,
Do they even use the same? Are they both D-O double G's?
Mm-hmm.
But no, Nate Dogg is definitely not related to Snoop Dogg.
Well,
Oh,
you
I
learn
thought they
something
were
new every
related.
day.
I know.
That's our trivia fact of the week.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. That's a good concert.
Yeah.
That's
They
a
both are double G.
D-O double G. There you go.
Which
They
is
must be
like-
related.
That is fair.
At least, from the ancestors ago. That's a pretty good Tacoma event.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I got anything planned. I'm going to Nashville on Tuesday.
Okay.
That's a very un-Tacoma event. And then
Yeah. Not very Tacoma.
I don't even know if I'll be able to go to any of the mics this week either.
What
Yeah.
is that again? Sorry.
Reggie X and I are going to Nashville. He has
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
free airline tickets
That's
for
tight.
with Alaska. Yeah, so he's trying to go see the country and do stand up all over. And he was like, "I'm going to Nashville on Tuesday. You want to come?" And I said, "Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll go to Nashville on Tuesday."
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So I've never been to Nashville. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what the Reggie X lifestyle is.
See how Nashville likes the Fitz dog.
Yeah. Right. do a couple of mics and see what it is.
It's more of a music
Have you
city.
plotted out mics?
Yeah. Yep.
So there's. I wonder what the scene is like there.
I know. I'm not even really sure.
It's gonna just be a bunch of like. I don't know, spicy chicken.
I was gonna say I'm mostly looking forward to the hot honey.
Yeah.
I love hot honey.
I wonder if they're big music comedy people.
Oh, that would suck.
Fucking hate music.
If they were all music comedians.
They probably hate it. They probably like lynch you. They'd be like, "Oh, so you think fucking music's a joke, huh?"
We take it real serious around these parts.
Let me show you something.
I think it's got similar to like Austin vibes of like it was like the cool city to move to, so then a bunch of
It was.
like
There's a bunch
hipsters
of.
moved there and
Yeah.
ruined it a little bit.
It was at one point the fastest growing city in the United States.
Really?
Yes. It's precisely
Recently.
because of what you said. Maybe like 10 years ago,
Okay.
it was like a big like hipster destination.
Mm,
It's what Austin has become now.
yeah. Well, hopefully that's good for comedy.
Maybe.
I mean, home prices are still astronomical in Nashville, so I would say it certainly fucked it up a bit.
Well, unless you have bought early,
If you bought early,
then you're just upset with all the hipsters.
I can't. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's.
Well, do we got anything else, or should we call it an afternoon?
I mean, Nick Carter.
Our
Oh
morning.
yeah.
Oh.
You're right. We got
The
one last
Backstreet Boys,
one last
dude.
topic.
I don't know much about it. That's the only issue.
Well, we'll just give them a little bit of a brief update.
Dude, a Backstreet Boy raped a 17-year-old back in 2001
Wow.
in Tacoma, and is getting exposed for it 2 weeks after his brother died.
Oh
rough,
my goodness.
rough month. for the
Rough
Carter
month
family.
for the Carters.
Yeah, dude. But
This is the Carter.
I guess that's.
So hold on to your teenage daughter.
Oh shit.
I want candy so I can lure children into my van with it.
17 that's double rape, really.
That's. Oh.
Yeah.
They doubled up on it. Oh, 'cause it's statch too.
It's statutory, I
They
believe.
got him. They're gonna
Well,
hit
if it
him
was
with the
2001, I
statch.
don't know how old the Carters were, or Nick Carter was.
I mean, he was over 18. I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably. It was a long time ago to bring back up those things. I thought there was a statute of
A
limitations.
statutory of limitations.
Boom.
Got him.
Boom.
Done.
All right, that's a good thing to have.
All right. See y'all next week.
Yep.